I didn't officially meet Kevin Miller until I would say the fall of 2020, sometime around October, November of that year, right after I had moved back home to Arkansas after spending 3 years in Texas. And this was around the time I moved back in March of 2020, right around the time when everybody thought the world was ending because of COVID. And, we're all just trying to figure out our own things to do while social distancing. And that's pretty much what I went back to doing, what I always do, and that is some sort of sports and sports coverage. And at that time, I was very, very green. I'm still fairly new, but was very green in the business, and really was just trying to form connections. Was trying to just get to know coaches, all those different things. And I received a direct message from Kev on again, it was sometime around October, November of 2020, and it was on Twitter. And it basically just said, "Hey, I do a lot of sports," and I had heard of him before, just kind of watching some video clips on social media and all those things. And he gave me his number, and we hopped on a call. And I'll be honest, I was kind of a little bit confused because I'm like, why is this guy that I don't know? And I really, this is the first time I've ever talked to him in my life. Like, what is it why would he want to help me? Like, what business does he have doing that when he's trying to build his own brand and all these different things? And I quickly realized once we got off the call and once I continued to get to know him, that Kev had probably the biggest servant heart of anybody that I've ever met. He's up there with the best of them. And that's just meaning not only in sports, but just being a friend to somebody, whether that was at his job, of course, with his family that he loved so dearly. He was just a servant anywhere that he went, and he was a great encourager to me. And I can't tell you how many times that I felt like I was maybe fed up with this business. We deal with a lot of things and don't get paid very much for it. So I cannot tell you how many times I would give him a call and just really vent. And every single time it was, remember why we do this. And he would remind me, and he was kind of my voice of reason, for lack of a better term. And really, from that point on, we just continued to get stronger and stronger. And we did a lot of things together, also alongside many of the people that are involved in coordinating this event. And after he had put together, he kind of was the leader in putting together the basketball media days that went on last October. And of course, the next thing that we had in mind was football. And unfortunately, he passed away 4 months after the basketball media days, and he didn't get to see this come to fruition. But I have no doubt that Kev is smiling down right now just because of not only this event, but the team camp and just the way that people have honored his memory. Man, it's just been so overwhelming to see people that knew him well, that maybe didn't know him much at all, but just knew the impact that he had on so many different people. And that's the reason why we're gathering here today and also Thursday and Friday, is to do the things that he loved to do in his honor, because at the end of the day, that's really, other than again his family and his work, that was right up there with the most important things. Was important things to him was bringing coverage and bringing exposure to the state of Arkansas, to our athletes. Didn't matter whether you were the last one off the bench or you were a blue chip, 5-star recruit, or a NBA lottery draft pick projection in the next few years in basketball. It didn't matter to him. He wanted to help anybody that he could. And I'm so thankful for the friendship that he had, or that I had with him. And just that I had the chance to know him. I only had a chance to know him very closely for about 4.5 years. But hopefully through events like this and things in the future, where his name is involved, that will just continue to help his legacy live on and on and on, when those of us that are helping continue that go on are no longer here either. So I want to personally thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I want to thank First Community Bank for their hospitality, for the just amazing hosts that they have been to us, and all of our sponsors. We've got some great sponsors that have really stepped up and been a big part of this event. So we thank you so much. And again, thank you to those who are watching and following this and also understanding the reason why we do it. I hope you all enjoy these next 3 days. It's going to be a great honor being able to welcome over 60 teams from across most parts of the state of Arkansas. And hopefully this will just turn into something bigger and bigger each year. Thank you all so much. And I hope you enjoy this event. It's going to be a packed 3-day extravaganza that we are so excited about.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? You got Nigel with COE Films. You got Arkansas Prep Sports, Kyle Sutherland. You got Natural State Sports in the house. You got Eric Taylor at the house. We would like to welcome y'all to the first annual Big Miller Basketball Media Days. Over the next 3 days, we have over 79 teams, possibly 80 teams that's in attendance. You're going to get an insight of their players, their programs. We have a lot of things in store over the next 3 days. This is a chance for you to basically get a chance to get to know who your team is. All the fans, you can interact on Natural State Sports on YouTube. Hey, just want to say thank you all for tuning in and get ready for 3 days of action. Thank you.
All right, good morning. My name is Coach Hal. First off, it's an honor to be here. I'm glad to be here with me and my team. I said, first we have Eric Burton Jr., a senior. Then I have right here O'Ree Johnson, my sophomore guard. And then I have my senior right here, Daquan Hanson. And so this is the guys that I brought up here with me today. And like I said, I'm Coach Alexander Howe. This is my first year at Emerson High School.
Coach, I know it's your first year, but tell us a little bit about your expectations going into this year. You know, you have looks like a couple of seniors, probably going to lean on them pretty heavily. Yes, just talk about, being first year at Emerson, what you want to build as a program, what your vision is, looks like going forward, and how you're going to lean on these guys moving forward.
Yes, sir. Some of my goals are, what the main goal is, we want to get back to the state tournament. Like I said, they was well coached, played well last year. They made it to the state tournament last year. They went on a nice run, so they was well coached. I already have a basketball culture there, so I'm trying to come in and enhance already what they have and just keep the ball rolling. Like I said, I'm leaning on some of these guys right here. They've been there. They know what to do. They know how it's done. And so, like I said, this is my point guard. He's very smart on the floor. Eric, he's very smart on the floor, and he's a big man. He brings physicality to the team. So I'll be leaning on these guys a lot this season to try to get the job done.
Coach, coming into this season, everybody tend to, get their non-conference schedule,
right.
printed up. So what's your non-conference schedule looking like?
It's looking pretty good. Like I said, we opened up tonight against Blevins. Then we traveled to Wonderview Friday. We're in a couple nice tournaments to try to get us ready for, the open conference and things like that. Like I said, like I try to preach to them every day, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. You don't want to be too hot early in the season. Then when conference starts, you start falling apart. So we want to just take it game by game, stack days, get better every day, and get this thing started so we know what's our flaws and what we need to work on.
It's for the players. So from left to right, could you introduce yourself? Let everybody know a little bit about yourself.
My name is Daquan Hanson. I go to Emerson High School. I'm a senior this year. This really like my first year playing for real. I've been in and out of trouble, but I've been trying to calm down some, So yeah, this is my first year playing. But I've been playing basketball for a long time though, like AAU, like circus team and stuff like that. All that, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much about me right there.
My name is O'Ree Johnson. I'm a sophomore guard. I bring leadership as a point guard. Every team needs leadership. I bring leadership. Seeing things, being like a mini coach on the floor. Putting my teammates in positions that they can score real well.
I'm Eric Burton. I'm a returning senior. I've been playing, my whole life. I'm averaging 20 points my whole senior year. My senior high team games, all them trying to average 19 and a double-double. returning this year, trying to go back to state again. Last year we got put out first round, but this year we plan on taking it further.
And Coach, other than South Arkansas, you know, there's some people might be watching that don't know a whole lot about your team. So other than these three guys that you brought with you, here are some others that you're going to be relying on this year.
We got some other guys. We got a junior, Nawan Henson. He's 6'4". He brings a lot of athleticism. Can score the ball at all three levels, and we're going to be leaning on him a lot this year. We have another one of our other guards. He's very athletic, you know. So this is probably one of my deepest teams that I done had, and so we kind of going to go like 8-9 deep this year. So like I said, I'm really leaning on the bench and guys to step up and have an impact on the game. So I have a pretty deep roster this year.
Tell us about your style of play, Coach. Are you going to continue on what these guys are used to, or are you introducing just a little different, your own style?
Well, I'm going to introduce a style. I like to get up and down. I like to run. I like to get up and down and control. So, like I said, we're going to get in shape. We're getting in shape, and we're hitting the weights well because, like I said, I like to get up and down, and I'm a very defensive-minded coach. So they already know if you can't play defense, it's going to be hard for you to be on the floor for me. So we get after it. We want to get into people, and we want to control the glass. We want to be a great rebounding team. So I feel like if we take care of those things and don't turn the ball over and control the glass, I feel like we'll give ourselves a great chance this year.
Coach, I heard you say you're defensive-minded.
Yes, sir.
Coach, so what are some of those things that you're implementing to your defensive strategy to make sure your team is up to par where you want them right now?
One of the main things that we talk about every day is talking and communicating on the floor. Is always knowing where you're supposed to be at on the floor, communicating with your teammate, having your teammate back, and those are very key to me because when you're talking on the floor, everybody is knowing what to do. You don't want to have three guys that's knowing what to do, and then you got two guys lost because we're not communicating and talking on the floor. So that's one of my key things. We're going to always communicate and be physical on the floor.
Eric, you've been there. Sounds like you were a leader last year, even though you weren't a senior. Tell us a little bit about that going into your senior year. New coach, going to be leaning on you a lot again for scoring and defense. So just talk about that going into your senior year.
I would say that it's only me, but being with the team that I am, and I feel like we're a very humble team. Like if one person scores, everybody scores. So coming from the team that we had last year, we lost, 3 seniors, but they left a good mark on us, and they let us know that, hey, y'all a team, so y'all play together. So they left us in a good position. We had some sophomores move up from last year, Peyton and Ori. They're gonna help us out a lot this year, but it's not difficult. It's not difficult as long as you stay together. As long as you play as a team, it all falls together.
So for each player, what are some of your personal goals this season, to make sure that your team is successful just the way you would like?
Goals that I would like to say that as I have as a team this year is to make it back to state and go further than we did last year because I know that we can, and that's a big possibility for us. And I know that we a team that plays in transition, and that's something that I want to get better at this year, but mainly I want to be able to say that our games were won defensively. Because last year we came in, all the games we won were basically offensive games. We outscored the other team. But this year I really want to dig deep and drill that defense so we can not only score in transition, but score off of defensive plays as well.
The goal this season would be being a leader for our team. I want to be a double-double type person. I love seeing my guys get the ball and score points, I'm not a person that'll go out there and get 30, but I just like getting everybody involved. So, yeah, like Eric said, a personal goal, I want to get back to state. You know what I'm saying? I want to get to High Springs and raise that trophy.
So like them two said, like I want to average double-doubles, average get the most boards on the team. I want to apply pressure to everybody on the court so they can understand where I'm coming from. And I want to go back to state and all that. I want to hold the trophy in front of everybody and to tell them how much we done been through, how much work we done put in to get to this place. And so yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I know coming into this season, even on the end of last season, what's one game on the calendar that you have circled that you're looking forward to get to?
Nevada. Nevada Blue Jays. Yeah, last year we fell short a few times and it shouldn't have happened, but we let it happen. But this year we've been working so hard. We've been working since July. June, July, one of them. I know because mentally we've been working since last year, but physically we've been working since July, and it's highlighted. It's really yeah.
Okay, Coach. Well, we appreciate you guys for coming down, giving us a little insight on your program and on your mindset coming into this season. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We got Emerson girls up next. Head coach, could you introduce yourself and your players, please?
Yes, sir. I'm TC French. I'm the head girls coach at Emerson High School. And right here I've got junior Kaylee Hanson, senior Dana Hampton, and down there on the end is senior Layla Tell. Last year we had a really good season. We went 31-7. We won the conference, won the district, regional runner-up, and got beat in the second round of state. We lost 8 of our 11 varsity players from last year. These are the only 3 that returned, but we do have a big sophomore class. There's 10 sophomores this year. They're really talented. Won the conference as 8th graders, runner-up as 9th graders. Been in the program since I've been there. My first year, they were 7th graders. So really excited about them. People talk all the time. They're like, you lost 8 out of 11 players. Is this going to be a rebuilding year? And we don't feel that way. We feel like we're just reloading. We're not rebuilding. Our goal is still the same. We want to win the conference. We want to play for the regional championship and see where we can go from there.
Coach, sound like you had a pretty good season last year, so I know the expectation is high. So what's some of the preparations you didn't install over the summer to get your team prepared?
We work real hard during the summer. We take the spring off. We do track. And then during the summer, we really get back into it. We start working on our team building relationships, culture. The culture is kind of in place because I do coach everybody 7 through 12. and they kind of know what to expect. So we went to Harding. We played a lot of the North Arkansas schools, the bigger schools. That really prepared us for everything we're going to see. We had team camp. We ended up playing 30-some-odd games during the summer, and that's kind of how we prepare. We have a lot of open gyms. We spend lots of time in the gym. These three spend a lot of time in the gym. Kaylee's mom works at the school, so she's always there, shooting, getting shots up, things like that.
Okay, yeah, from left to right, could you, each one of the players introduce themselves, give a little insight about yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Kaylee Hansen. I go to Emerson High School, and I'm a junior. And yeah.
Hey, my name is Dana Hampton. I'm from Emerson High School, and I'm a senior.
I'm Layla Tell, and I'm a senior, and I go to Emerson High School.
Okay, Coach, so, you know, I know your expectations, like as you said, is high. Your non-conference schedule, how important is it for your non-conference schedule to be scheduled, you know, to make your team, to get your team ready for the, you know, the conference schedule?
We tried to really beef up our non-conference schedule this year. Something we ran into last year, although it'll be different this year, our conference schedule sometimes isn't the greatest. This year it will be different, but we wanted to play a lot bigger schools, a lot better schools to prepare us for state. We're going to Wonderview this Friday. They were, I think, number 4 in the state last year. We really wanted to go play them. That was something exciting. Obviously, we go to Kirby next week. We've got Parker's Chapel coming in. They were a top 10 2A team last year. We've got Hamburg coming in. They won their conference in 4A. We're going to the Fordyce tournament. We played Camden Fairview last year. I think they were just a second away from winning a state game. They've got the Fusilier girl that's been offered by LSU. We really try to beef up our schedule as much as we can. We don't care about losing early. Obviously, we want to win, but we don't care. We just want to get prepared for, you know, February.
Right. And speaking of that, this is for each player, each one of you can answer. What's some of the things that you have done off season to prepare you for that non-conference schedule, or this season rather?
We just been working hard in the gym and at team camps. And we've been working hard and working on our craft and our skills, and just getting better.
When we had a bunch of team camps, we hosted our own team camp. We went to Harding and played a couple games. And that was it.
I know, like, as a team, what we did, we went to, like, a lot of team camps. And, like, me personally, to get better, to help my team, I played AAU ball this summer. So that really helped me.
And Coach, how do you prioritize player development? You know, when it comes to getting your team prepared or each player ready, how do you prioritize that?
Oh, we take it very seriously. We work really hard at it. Layla last year played the 5 for us the majority of the time. She was all-state, averaged 17 points, I think 12 rebounds. She had a post come out last week about her being one of the top rebounders in the state regardless of class. She had 400 and something rebounds last year. She's a great rebounder, great offensive rebounder. But this summer, she really tried to develop more of a jump shot, worked on her ball handling, her passing, because she's going to try to slide to the 4. And she could even play some 3 for us this year, which gives us it's a matchup nightmare with her being 6 feet and as athletic as she is. Dana, she's trying to add a jump shot to her game. She hit one the other night, and her mom was like shocked behind us, but we see it every day. She's really worked on that. She's working on counter moves because being 6 foot doesn't always do the job. And then Kaylee here, she works on her ball handling, being stronger with the ball. She's an undersized guard, so she understands that she has to be strong in everything. And with the sophomores, we just want them to be the best all-around players they can. That from day one, they kind of play positionless basketball so that they can fill whatever void. The girl that played the 5 for us last year, Haven Carrington, she's turning more into a 3 this year. She's about 5'6", crazy athletic, strong. Now she's developed as a ball handler. she can help us there. She's starting to shoot the ball well, along with her post moves and stuff. And we have another guard, Kagan Gunnels. She's a sophomore. She's been 20 points a game the last 3 years. She's a 3-level scorer, can do it any way you want. Great passer, high IQ, basketball IQ. She's going to be a great one.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned y'all won 31 games. Taylor did, I think Bradley won 24 or 25. How big is that for girls basketball, especially in Class 1A in South Arkansas, for just all the success that all three of the teams had?
Oh, it's huge. For so long, South Arkansas has been kind of a doormat in basketball at times. You know, you'll have one good team, but last year, you know, in the conference there was, well, in our conference there wasn't, but in the region there was 3 or 4 really good teams that won a bunch of games. And it's going to be the same way this year. In our conference alone, we bring in a great sophomore class. Taylor brings in a great sophomore class, and then Lafayette County has a great sophomore class. And we've been battling it out with them all summer. Every year we battle it out. We beat them sometimes, they beat us sometimes. It's just it's fantastic for the sport in general. But there's some really good teams in South Arkansas right now.
This is to the players. I was a little shocked when I heard the coach said you basically lost 80% of your team and then are doing just a little bit of a, not necessarily a rebuild, but a reload. But tell us about, you know, you guys, you know, teaching and being leaders to, you know, to new players on, you know, coming on the team and being on the court.
I do my best. I'm not really much of a good teacher. I try to tell them, I try to be like there for them. I try to, you know, make them feel like I'm a safe place. We just tell them stay focused, try hard every day, come in with a good attitude, and trust in God, and we got it.
Yeah, same with what she said. Just focus, just trust in God, and we try to like uplift them, and just like because they're like our little sisters, so we just try to be leaders, great leaders to them.
Something that most of them, I'm like really close to all of them that came up. So, yeah, I just feel like I'm a really safe place for them to come talk if they need anything. So, yeah.
So this is my question for every team that's going to come up here today. What's that one team on your schedule that you have circled that you're looking forward to playing?
Taylor.
No doubt, Taylor.
Taylor?
Coach Graves played for me in my first couple of years coaching, one of my best friends in the world. But we just, you know, we love each other. We do a lot of things together, but when that date comes up, we'll be ready. They'll be ready. It'll be a war. The only technical fouls that we got all year last year was against Taylor. I mean, it's the kids. We was on the way up here this morning, and she was talking about their point guard, how they just kind of had it out in the regional final on the court, and then after the game they just hug each other. I mean, that's kind of how it is with us, but and that's how it is will be with Devin and myself. You know, they beat us in the regional final, and I tell them all the time I couldn't be happier for anybody, but definitely Taylor. And then for me personally, and I'm sure for Kaylee too, Lafayette County is the other one. Coach Briggs, my best friend in the whole world. My kid's named after him. He coaches Kaylee in AAU, so we always, you know, we want to beat them for sure. It'll be back and forth. It'll be a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. We talk a lot of trash in the time building up to it.
Well, Coach, that concludes our interview. Appreciate you guys for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, up next we have Morrilton High School with head coach Keith Zachary. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing good. If you can introduce your boys from left to right, give us a little insight on each one, please.
All right. We have Ty Wright, starting point guard for us this year, junior. We have Corey C.J. Clemens, sophomore, point guard, shooting guard for us. Then we have Kazavion Hill, who also play some minutes at the point for us as well as shooting guard and maybe a little small forward for us. He's really athletic. And then we have junior Isaiah Templeton, who played the 5 for us last year. We're going to stretch him out a little bit this year around the 3-4. And if it comes money time, we'll definitely put him on the block. So got a bunch of 2026s with me today.
Coach, I always want to ask about that non-conference schedule and just how important it is to your team, going into this season.
For me, it's really important. We always try to schedule above our heads. And anytime we can get Maumelle on the list, we definitely put them on the list. They're probably, in my mind, the top team on our non-conference schedule for us to play this year. They have a plethora of elite players, and it's always a good test for us. We try to play them early, just a measuring tool for where we are. And so we got it, Cabot's on there, Whitehall. We're going to go down to Monticello and play the Billies this year, I think, and maybe Warren Lumberjacks. It's just a bunch of really good teams on our schedule.
So what's some of your goals and expectations of your team?
That doesn't change. We always want to try to get to Hot Springs, but we definitely want to be state qualifiers every year and have a chance to compete in our conference and win our conference. We've been very fortunate, and this will be our 4th league since I've been in Morrilton. We've been very fortunate to win a bunch of conference championships and a bunch of basketball games. Ultimately, if I can get the guys that want to play next level of basketball an opportunity to do that, that's my end game.
Coach, we were just discussing you're replacing a lot of production from last year. But tell me a little bit about these guys and the roles that you're expecting them to step up to and how you're expecting them to really embrace those roles for you this year.
We're definitely going to have our hands full trying to replace Woodruff and Mosley, 2 leading scorers for us last year. Woodruff was our point guard. He had a great scrimmage in Black Hills over the weekend, so I'm excited for him. But we think we've got some guys that'll be able to step up to the plate. Templeton really stepped up for us toward the end of the season last year, and probably was definitely our most proficient scorer, probably our best player toward the end of the year. He's just a hard guard. He's an inside-out guy. He spent the summer working on his game as far as his dribble pull-up game and shooting off the dribble. He's really had a great summer. Play with AO flight this summer. Body's continuing to change, and his game is growing. So we're really excited about his growth and where he can take us this year. And then we have Kazavion Hill, Catino Mobley, I think is the name he was given yesterday. He's a lefty. He doesn't know how athletic he is yet. But once he figures that out, he's going to be really good. I think he'll be a legit 2-level scorer for us, and if he can keep knocking down that 3-ball consistently, he'll be a 3-level scorer for us. But him turning the corner, his first step is dynamic. So we're really excited about him. This will be his first year playing for us, but he's come in and he's fit right in. He played at Conway last year, I think, on the JV team. He definitely won't play JV for us this year. And then we have Corey Clemens. Corey is coming back off of an ankle injury, I think from spring football, I believe. So he's a legit 3-point shooter for us. He'll be a catch and shoot, knockdown shooter for us. I think once that ankle begins to get a little bit better for him, but we're excited about him. He has a good basketball IQ, great feel. And both of these guys have been great fits for us. And that's the biggest thing for us because I coach them hard. So to come play for me, you have to be able to take that, and they've been a great fit for us. So we're expecting big things from him as well going forward. And then we have Ty Wright, who has taken on the role of trying to fill Woodruff shoes from last year. He spoke about it last year, how vocal and how intense and how intentional BJ was as far as leading and directing the team. And he's done a pretty good job of that. He has days when he struggles a little bit because he's just not a really vocal kid. But you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, especially if you have dreams of playing next level basketball. So he's growing in that capacity.
From left to right, each player, give us a little insight on some of the things you have done to get better over the summer, even up to now.
Just some things I've did. I've worked out with like other players that's been to college, just individual workouts. Then I've watched also trainers. I've been to trainers. I've watched trainers. I just copy workouts and do it by myself. I get in the gym more often now, especially like Coach said, my role increased, so I got to put more time in. So
for me, it'll be working on my shot more, getting shots up in the gym, and then coming to practice, getting on the track, lifting and all that.
Over the summer, we've been like working really hard. We have an intense practice, and coach push us to our limits every day. We lift every day. We was on the track. We putting up shots, working our individual game, and playing with each other. And I've been working out. I was working out with Tanner Nance, one of my trainers, and I even worked out with Ty, Isaiah, and coach, former player Devin Foster, and that's really it.
For me, definitely our track program. We're trying to get my body right from last year. Playing with Flight helped me out as well, expanding my game as a shooting guard or a three.
Coach, I got to ask, you're known by many as the best dressed coach in Arkansas. So how many suits do you have put back this year?
Well, I got a few I didn't get to wear last year. I had an abrupt ending to the season. But I got a different suit for every game. And if I get to the state tournament, the wife gets me a new suit. So. Yeah.
So, Coach, what's some of your methods to motivating your team, getting them hyped up for those early tough practices, those hard practices?
Well, they know I don't coach effort, so they know when they walk in the gym they got to be ready to work. But ultimately, I've got 4 guys with me today that have dreams of hopefully playing next level basketball. And so my first job was as a volunteer with Southern Arkansas University under Coach Bozeman. So all I know is what it takes to play next level basketball. So that's how we approach it. We approach it, our work ethic every day. And if they're working, I'm a really nice guy. When they're not working, I'm not so much of a nice guy. And I think they like the nice guy. So I don't really have to do a lot. They know what the expectation is. They know what the standard is. And we try to get to raise that bar every day. So for me, I don't have to do a lot. I do a little correcting every now and then. But the good thing about this group is I can constantly see them trying to do everything that we're asking them to do as a coaching staff. And when you got that, you're always going to have a chance to be successful. I don't know if it's going to result in wins or losses, but if these guys will keep working the way that they are, you find it hard to believe that they won't have some success.
Can you all share a memorable moment from last year that you look back on and be like, man, we let that slip, or we did this exceptionally well? Could you share a moment like that?
Probably the Brooklyn game from last year. We didn't rebound like we were supposed to. Too many offensive rebounds, couldn't get stops, and overall we just couldn't hit shots when the time came.
I know me personally, but I relaxed a lot more since I had BJ, but now I took his spot, so it's really by me my butt that I relaxed. But yeah, that's my mistake that I look back at.
I don't know if we over-prepared for the Brooklyn game or not, but, the bench, the coaches. We were calling every set, every play, every call. But in the moment, we couldn't execute. So I watched that film 4 or 5 times, talked to my coaches about it. I've got to figure out a better way to. I don't know if we over prepped. I'm telling you, there was nothing he called, hand movements, whatever it was. We knew it, but we just couldn't get it done. And hats off to Brooklyn. They came in well prepared for us as well. But the bigness of that moment kind of overwhelmed us, and we didn't play as well as we could have, or we'd like to have played. And so that, for me, as a coach, I've got to go back and reevaluate, and maybe I put too much on them. I don't know.
Okay, so y'all told y'all I'm gonna ask every team this. What's that one team circled on your calendar that you're looking forward to playing today? That day.
Clinton.
I say Maumelle because I got a few people that's been like talking stuff over there on the media, so that's really.
Whoever on the list.
Whoever on the list.
I'll say Clinton. I got a few teammates.
For me, I don't really have a team per se. I just know that I try to schedule teams that'll give us a chance to play in March. And I know that the South is going to be really good this year. So playing a team like Maumelle is always big for us. But playing a team like Cabot as well for us too. So for me, I'm like CJ. Every game for me is a big game.
Okay, with that said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you.
All right, I just want to, before you conclude, I just want to make sure you guys know how appreciative we are of this opportunity and for what you guys are doing for the sport of basketball in the state of Arkansas. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Okay, up next we have Parkview Girls. How you doing?
Great, how are you?
We're doing good, we're doing good. Coach, want to introduce yourself, and then from left to right, each player, please.
Okay. Coach Lahoma Howard, this is the start of my 22nd year at Parkview, coaching girls basketball. Here to my right, starting with the young one in the group, junior guard Kristen Cooper. To my left, senior guard Naomi Sharpley. And then on the end, our forward, also a senior Jariah White.
Coach, tell us a bit about, you got some strong senior leaders here, but tell us a little bit about those expectations and what all you're putting on your seniors, right? I know you can lean on these girls, but what all are you putting on their shoulders going forward and little expectations for this year?
Expectation for this year, as always, we're going hard every day. Always the end result is always a championship. We always hoping for that. That's always our end goal. But each start of each year, when I have upcoming seniors, and which here to my left are my two seniors, and we've already had that conversation. Naomi being our guard, so she knows her role as a leader, and also Jariah as our post player, you know what they have to bring to the table. And expectations, again, are extremely high. And then also expectation on the other guard here, Kristen Cooper. So my guard play, I think, is pretty strong, post players as well. We just know we just got to bring it every day we hit the court.
Coach, watching your team watching all of your teams over the years, I know your attention to defense and the way you are animated about defense. So give us a little insight on how you're preparing this team this season for defense.
Defense, what we've always talked about. I had a strong mentor, Coach Flanagan, who instilled in me for 20 plus years about defense and how strong. And I was a defensive player as well. And so it just went hand in hand. And again, everybody can play offense. Everybody can shoot. So that part is easy. However, the defensive end is a little bit harder. And no one likes to play defense. It's hard to do. But the grind is what we're talking about, that extra on the floor, hustle plays from start to finish, and just getting after it, giving our all every time. If your defense is strong, your offense is easy.
Naomi, you've been playing basketball forever. Forever. It all culminates into this senior year. Tell us what you've been doing the past few years and this summer to get ready for your senior year, and what can we expect from you, personal goals and team goals this year?
Just for the past year, just been working hard, getting in the gym, trying to just perfect my game for the season. I have been playing under Coach Howard it's my 4th year playing under her, so just her seeing me as her own, just like a second mom to me, just knowing what she expects from me every day I come to the gym to be a leader, trying to show leadership on the court, and just this year, as for myself, to be a better team player, getting the ball up the floor, you know, making good assists, scoring for my team, just make sure that we win our games and in the long run, hopefully get a championship this year, of course.
And Coach, you've been, as we talked about, well-respected coach in the state for a long time, and all those years with Coach Flanagan, as you mentioned too, having coached generations of players, how have you, just some certain ways that you've adapted to the game? Just, again, I know you've been defensive for all these years, but just the way that the game has changed throughout the generations, how are some ways that you've adapted?
It has changed a whole lot. I can't be as hardcore as I used to be. Former players tease me all the time, saying, "Coach, you've gotten real soft." And so you have to adjust with the time, but you still expect the same results. And so to get them there, love them, but also discipline them as well. That motherly instinct that I have, also with my 2 kids and 3 grandchildren. So, it's still, they're mine. And I tell their parents all the time, these are my babies. You may have given birth to them, but they're mine. And so it's a challenge every year, dealing with this year almost 30 personalities, different personalities. And so it is a challenge for me each year to deal with the different challenges as far as personalities and how I can get the best I can out of them to reach their fullest potential.
from left to right, each player, what's some of the things you have done over the course of the summer, heading into the spring, over the summer, the spring, heading into now? So what's some of the things you have done?
Some of the things that I've done is just perfecting just the mental side of the game. You know, Coach always stresses that the game is 80% mental and 20% physical, so always having a strong mindset, the game will come easy. It's easy to you, just playing confident and playing hard and just practicing that every day, just continuing to play.
I've really been working on offense because defense can be taught. It comes naturally. So I've been more focused on my offense and trying to make my team better as a whole and making sure we all play together. So we just been pushing each other.
Coach, you're in the 5A conference. I know that's one of the toughest conferences along with the 6A. And give us a little insight on your non-conference schedule. Just how important is that heading into the season?
We have a very strong non-conference as well as a conference that stands ahead of us. Just trying to get the best of the best, finding out, you know, again, those challenges or weaknesses that I have on my team that we have to, can't say perfect, but we're going to always strive to perfect to get there. And so we can go into the conference season a lot stronger. But, you know, being engaged as to gauging how we are in a non-conference. We're playing against Marion this year, non-conference, Nashville, also Central, West Memphis. So it's full. And so, again, those are challenging games that also prepare us for our conference season coming up. And then also the Conway tournament. So it's always a great tournament every year as well. So our non-conference season is just as strong as our conference season.
Are you confident where your team stands at this point, heading into the season? Are you confident to where, you know, with their the way they react to your coaching?
I'm confident in how they react, you know, but always a little optimist about how we're going to perform. It's just when the lights come on, is, you know, ball goes up, you know, what team shows up. So I'm hoping that we'll be ready. We have been playing, you know, practicing since this summer, conference, you know, getting ready for conference and non-conference game, and also just going to different camps and things. So I think we're ready, but, you know, until the lights come on, that's always the challenge, and then inquiring minds want to know.
So ladies, we know Coach, she's pretty tough on you all. So what's the team chemistry is like at this point, just amongst the team?
Our team chemistry has grown a lot. We've definitely learned to play together throughout the years, and not only just playing together, but just playing as a family and playing as one just throughout these games.
Yeah, from like the summer to now, our team chemistry has grew. Every year is really just, it starts with the leaders, just making sure that everybody's on the same page, because we all know it's a target on our back every time we step on the court. So we just got to know that every time we got to stick together, help each other up when we're down.
I agree. We just got to learn, well, we already learned to play together. We just got to egg each other on, not egg each other on, but like push each other to be better and play as a team as always. But we've grown since the summer, well, since off season till now.
Right. So I heard you say that you all have a pretty big target on your back. So what's that one team that you all have circled on your calendar that you're looking forward to playing?
It's Central.
Central. Why?
It's a pretty big rival. Parkview and Central is always the game everybody's talking about. They beat us last year. We beat them the year before that. It's kind of going back and forth, so hopefully this year can get us one.
It's always like a tit for tat with Central, because Central, they have a lot of good skill, and we do too, but they have more height than us, so it's really all about whoever wanted more.
Yeah, and we've been the underdogs kind of these last few years, and so we really have something to prove this year just throughout the non-conference game and just throughout conference.
Okay, well, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the insight on your program and insight on your direction. Thank you.
Thank you all for having us.
All right, on. Okay, up next, we have Sheridan High School with head coach Joe Scott. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How's it going?
Good. If you can give us a little insight with your name and each player from left to right, please.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I want to say thanks for having us here. It's a great thing that y'all are doing and showing spotlight for all these kids and student athletes in schools. So we really appreciate y'all inviting us. I'm Joe Scott. I've been head boys basketball coach at Sheridan. This is my 19th year, I believe. But the 4 seniors I brought with me, starting to my right, is Gavin Hobson. He's going to play guard for us. He's a returning starter. Averaged about 8 to 9 points last year, 4 rebounds. Just recently picked up a ASUN offer. Looked to play basketball at the next level. Great communicator. Excellent glue guy for us. He can do a little bit of everything. We're looking for him to have a big season. Noah Romine right here to my right. All-conference point guard last year. Averaged 13 points, 4 assists a game. He's kind of our motor. He kind of pushes the rock for us, gets us in the open court, gets us in our plays. He's got the keys to the car. And, returning starter as well. Cool thing about Noah, he was voted Sportsbook Live Player of the Week last year during his Lakeside and Whitehall week. Had a heck of a game versus Lakeside with 32 points and 4 assists, I think, something like that. But overall, it's a really good player. I remember coming here last year talking about this, and we can kind of see the progress that Noah was making. And, he's a 5'8" point guard. And I said if Noah was 6'3", everybody in the state would know about Noah. Well, he's still only 5'8", but everybody in the state is starting to become aware of Noah. And he's a really good basketball player for us, and we look forward to big things from him. To the left, I got Logan Ward. Logan's a great multi-sport athlete. Is probably going to play collegiate baseball. What position play? Shortstop, left field, pitcher. He can do it all on the baseball field. The good thing for us, he can do it all on the basketball court as well. Great shooter. Probably leads all our statistical shot chart stuff in practice. Great defender. He can rebound. He can take charges for us. He can guard multiple positions. We look forward to Logan having a really good season for us. And on the far left over there, Nathan Carter, our most athletic player. One guy at Sheridan that could probably play above the rim for us. Great in the open court, throw the lobs to Nate. Nate averaged about 10 points, 7 rebounds last year. And that was his first real level of high school experience. And now as a senior, we look forward to him having a really great season. Nate's had a couple really good weeks of practice last 2 weeks where he's starting to really figure things out. And I think the sky's the limit for a kid like Nate.
Okay, well, Coach, what's some of your goals and expectations for this group coming into this season?
Well, I think everybody wants to go to Hot Springs at the end of the year. But the thing about going to Hot Springs, you can't get to Hot Springs if you don't make state. And if anybody across the state knows anything about Arkansas basketball the last few years, the 5A South boys is extremely competitive. I mean, extremely competitive. So our goal right now is, just, hey, let's make top 4 in 5A South, and anything can happen once you get to state tournament. But, the coach talk, the daily grind, stuff like that, we have a great group of guys that come willing to practice every day. I heard Morrilton's coach Zachary a while ago talking about, they know the expectations for every day of practice. They know the standards, and then that's just like our kids too. We never have to get on the line and run. We don't do any of that because our practices are so competitive. Our practices are so hard already that we just get after each other in practice, and they know the expectations, the culture of the program. So that'll be that. So hopefully it's Hot Springs, but first you got to make the state tournament.
No, your coach hit on, you had a big breakout season last year. You were a little bit of an unknown about this time last year, but now everybody knows who you are. So are you ready to be that guy that steps on the court and you've got the target on your back and other teams looking at ways to shut you down?
Yes, sir. Last year around this time, nobody really knew my name. I didn't even come to this meeting last year because I didn't really have a good preseason last year, but I think after my first game, I didn't have a really good game. But then my second game, I started off, and that's what kind of set me off, lit the fire. After my first game, the sky's the limit after that. And I knew I could be pretty good.
The thing about Noah is for a 5'8" point guard, you really don't see guys being a 3-level scorer, but he's really, really crafty at finishing at the rim with either hand. He's starting to develop a mid-range jump shot that we're working on a lot lately, trying to give him some sets and some actions to where he can get that midi. But he's a phenomenal three-point shooter, has a lot of range, things like that, and obviously extremely, extremely quick. He's very hard to stay in front of and a great ball handler and passer as well.
Okay, from left to right, each player give a little insight on about, just how your preparation for this season.
Just come to practice, work hard, and get better every day.
We started our work after spring break last year, so we've been working for the last 5 or 6 months on this, being ready for the starting season. We went hard all summer, and even our fall camp's been really good. I can't wait.
Just like working in practice, coming to practice every day, working together, building as a team and our chemistry, and just overall getting ready for the season.
Coming to practice with a good mindset, locking in, listening, just the simple things, and have effort 24/7.
Last year when we came here, I was talking about how we got to replace 94% of our lost scoring. Because 2 years ago, we were all senior-laden, big group of guys that graduated, and 94% replacing of scoring is very difficult for a coach and a program. These guys kind of got thrown in the fire last year as younger guys, and I think we were around 500 last year. We look forward to building on that when they have another year under their belt of experience.
Right on, and that goes to what I was about to ask you. With this team, was being young and everything, what's some of the strengths of this team that you see, and what's some of the weaknesses at this point, if you want to expound on it?
To me?
Yeah.
We should be better offensively this year. Yeah, we can shoot the ball. We have more size. Talk about Lane Bickford, 6'5" junior, and Dawson Griffin, a 6'5" sophomore. And then we're also going to have Beckett Scott, a 5'9" freshman, and Ethan Anderson, a 5'10" junior. But all those four guys right now are coming off the bench. But they all give us something that these four guys are different about. At Sheridan, we don't have a lot of size in the past. Now we can roll a couple 6'5" dudes out there that's going to help us out. Hopefully we gain some extra possessions, rebounds, and putbacks and things like that. But strength-wise, we're going to be able to score the ball a little better. We have more experience now. We have some senior leadership. Weakness-wise, we got to find a way to get stops. I talked about the 5A South, how competitive it is and how good those teams are, and our non-con is loaded. So, different ways of finding X's and O's and figuring out how to get stops and rebounds.
Speaking of that non-conference schedule, just how important is it going into this season, and what is it looking like?
Well, we start off at 6A Rogers Heritage, go on the road to a 6A opponent. Also have 6A Cabot, Little Rock Hall, Clinton. I know that both those teams are supposed to do a lot in the 4A. So we, understanding where we are in conference as far as how competitive teams are, we want to build that non-conference up. We have our own classic. We also go to the Harrison tournament where a bunch of good schools are going to be at. So anything we can do to get ourselves ready for our upcoming conference season.
I'd like to hear from Logan and Gavin, both of you guys. You stepped up last year, were reliable scorers, but how much more are you going to add to your game this year, not just scoring the ball, but defensively and rebounding, steals, blocks, being efficient on the floor? What are you guys looking forward to looking to take the next step, this year?
Me personally, I just got to play with more effort and get better on defense in general because I'm really not a defensive player. I just got linked, and I just need to be more talkative, even though I do talk a lot, and tell my teammates where everybody's going.
We're working on that defense with his. It's getting better. It's getting better.
For me, it's mainly just ball handling, more offensive stuff. I play with a lot of effort. I play hard, but my main flaw is just offensive, so I'm just trying to work on that.
And Nate, tell us about your game. It sounds like you're a guy that you're going to rely. The ball's not going to be in your hand 90% of the time, so you're going to rely on your teammates a lot. So talk about that. Teammates getting you the ball, put you in the right position to score.
know, I just got to play my part on the team, and you know, can't just get mad at him if I'm not getting the ball. I just got to let the ball come to me and just let it all come to me at once.
Nate does a great job of we're expanding his game. Last year he wasn't much of a three-point shooter. Maybe some schools would play off and know the scouting report because he is such a phenomenal athlete about getting to the rim, and he's got a good interior moves and presence with the footwork. But now we're working on him stretching the floor, him being able to knock down the three. He's always got the ability to get to the rim, that stuff. But you know, things that Nate don't want to brag about himself, but I will. Is he's a phenomenal rebounder outside of this area. If the ball's not coming to him, he's got the ability to go get a rebound with two hands, right? With two hands. So that's something that he brings to our team that we desperately need. Is his ability to go get rebounds for us.
Coach, what was your motto coming into this season, even in your practices? What's that one thing you hang your hat on when you're talking to your team?
Effort, intensity. You know, it's one of those things where we want to bring it every day, and against our opponents, we don't care about the name on the chest. Once you play Sheridan, you're going to know that you played Sheridan. We're going to play really hard. We're going to be great at X's and O's. We're going to be fundamentally sound. Athletically and speed-wise, we won't have as much as the other teams in our conference, but so we got to do stuff that's going to separate ourselves away from what they do and what their strengths are, and we feel like that can be, you know, game planning, schematically, things like that will put us in the upper hand, things like that.
And also, when you're talking about your team and the success, we're talking about support as well. So how important is it for that community to support your team and give them motivation?
Oh, it's great. And the thing about it, if you've never been to the Sheridan Arena, you are missing out. We have probably one of the top 5 arenas in the state of Arkansas. It is absolutely fantastic. We love practicing in there every day. I was hoping Coach Breakbill would just, you know, say, hey, Coach, you want to have practice in the arena? We'll go downstairs anytime you want. But that'd be great for us. But they like practicing in the arena too, so we got to switch it with the girls. But the good thing about us in our school district and our community is you can go on a road game, on an away game, and you'll see just as many fans for the away team for us as you would the home game for that team. So for us, that's everything. We got a ton of support, and it just, you know, it uplifts us and to play harder, maybe little things like that.
Well, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out, giving us an insight on your program and the players. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Okay, up next we have Sheridan High School girls with Andy Breakbill. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you guys having us.
We appreciate you. Well, before I start, I have to put this out there. The Sheridan boys, before I meant to ask this question, I wanted to ask them what team that they circled on their calendar. And Whitehall, I hope you're listening. You're circled on their calendar, so be on the lookout. They coming for you. Right on. Okay, sorry about that, but that was my bad, guys. So thank you all for coming. From left to right, could you introduce each player? From left to right, give us a little insight, please.
Well, first off, my name's Andy Braybill. This is my 19th year, first year entering Sheridan girls. Been a Harmony Girl boys the last 4 years. Starting down here, we got senior Ella Williamson, and I'm going to say a few things about each one of them. Ella Williamson in my career is one of the best open floor passers that I've coached. So she's going to be playing the point for us. She sees the floor really well, so we look forward to that. Next to her, we got senior Addison Hill. Like I said, you got to remember, I got hired late into May, and so I'm learning these girls as well as they're learning me as well. But Addison is a fierce competitor. I mean, she gets after it. I've coached a lot of boys in my career, and she gets after it with the best of them. Looking forward to her being a great defensive player for us, and she can shoot the ball as well. So we're looking forward to her playing that role and a slasher as well. Next to me on my left, we got Lily Reed. Lily is a junior. She can shoot it, and I'm honestly saying this, she can shoot it from anywhere. One thing I'm looking forward to expanding her game is if she has a mismatch on her, being able to take her inside and post her up some and playing in that area as well. And next to her, we got senior Mary Lim, as well as Addison. She's also a fierce competitor, gets after it, and she's going to let you know about it too. You know, the thing that's good about her and Addison, they're multi-sport athletes. You know, Mary Lim won a softball state championship last year, and they're both still competing in volleyball, having a great year. We look forward to seeing how their season finishes up. Hopefully they got a little bit more time left. But they're multi-sport athletes. They get after it, work hard, and we look forward to it.
Coach, the bad news is you didn't come in and inherit Caden Porter to lead your team again. But the good news is that you didn't coach her last year, so you don't have to really worry about that.
Right.
But tell us about these girls that are stepping into new roles that they haven't had over the past 2 or 3 years because Caden was that leader on that team.
Right. The great thing about them is they have a lot of experience. You know, Ella is coming just like me, first year at Sheridan. She played point at Rogers Heritage in the 6A last year. But one thing that's good about them, like I said, they got a lot of experience, but they're all going to have to expand their role and score more. You know, but I've never seen a kid that doesn't want to score more. You know, everybody wants to score. So we're looking forward to developing that. And with that being said, you know, system-wise, my philosophy has always been offensively and defensively to be as multiple as I can, to give different looks, to be hard to prepare for. So we're going to do that offensively and defensively. So hopefully that's going to help us.
Mary, I wanted to ask you, you know, Coach talked about the softball state championship last year. Your sophomore year, you tore your ACL, were out that season, you know, all that stuff. And you come back and not only did you help win the state championship, you're one of the key cogs of the machine. So talk about going through the ACL injury as a 15, 16-year-old and what advice you would give someone, because that's unfortunately a pretty prevalent injury.
The hardest part was the mental side of it, trying to stay positive and see the better outlook of things. But with great PT and good support around me, it was easier to come back better and stronger.
Lily, I know your dad and everybody in the state, just like Coach Bragg was saying, everybody in the state knows that you can shoot. But just like he was saying, what have you been working on so that if someone does step out and picks you up 2 feet behind the three-point line, how else are you going to help the team?
Well, I've still been working on my shooting and shooting from behind the arc farther back. But I've also been working on my mid-range game, like Coach Breakville said, being able to go in the paint and post up on a mismatch, working down low, working mid-range, and working behind the arc.
And I'll add this to that as well. We're going to try to give her in some situations where she's being a screener, using screener actions, because the best way to free somebody up is teaching them to be a good screener. So we're working on that daily as well. So.
And Ella, tell us about moving, to a new school and adapting to a new role and new coach and new environment.
Well, I'm just excited to be a part of this team and have the opportunities that it's going to allow me to do. And I just think that we're going to have a great season and we're going to be really good.
I know this is a tough one, but the ones that were on the team last year, you got hot at the end. Things didn't go well in the first round of the state tournament against Greenwood. Obviously, Greenwood is Greenwood. But what did y'all take from that and bringing that into this season as far as just, the learning lessons about, playing a whole game and all that good stuff?
I think being able to come back from adversity and learn from the past is just to elevate our game and to be better.
And I'll add on to that. As coaches, I'm guilty of this as well. Sometimes we can look at our non-conference schedule and want to maybe schedule wins if we can. But, at the end of the day, your non-conference needs to make you better at the end of the year. So, we have a tough non-conference schedule. And, we go to the Battle at the Briar. We go to the Harrison Tournament. We go to the Bourbon Thanksgiving Classic. So we're going to have some tough competition to help prepare us down the line and make a run late in the year.
Okay, girls, we'll start down here at the end. What's that game on the schedule that's circled this year?
Lakeside. Lakeside for sure.
Like Hamilton, too.
6'2" girl rather than just a 5'10" girl. It just made me better.
Coach, we appreciate y'all coming out. Why don't you just give us a little bit about, I know it's your first year, but,
right.
What are the expectations this year?
Well, I'll say this. I got hired late in May. We have honestly not had one practice with all our team there. So, when everybody gets here, and hopefully after a long run in volleyball here next week, we have a chance to be good. But it's going to take some time because with a new system, and I'll say this, I'm very similar to Coach Scott. Our systems are not easy to learn. So, we got a long ways to go defensively and offensively to get there. But if we stay together, we stay healthy, we put the pieces together, we have a chance to do something.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, up next, we have Malvern High School boys basketball with head coach, first-year head coach Brandon Kelly. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well.
Hey, thank you all for coming out. Give us an insight about you and from each one of your players left to right.
Yes, sir. So my name is Brandon Kelly. This is my 18th year of education and coaching, my 7th year as a head coach. This is my 2nd year at Malvern, but this is my 1st year head coach. I was the assistant last year. And so to my right, starting with Stephon Anthony, he's a returning junior. Stephon is one of the most fundamental kids that we have. This is not a knock on him. He's not as athletic as some of the ones we have, but he does a really good job of staying in the gym and doing things the right way. He's a great listener, and so he puts himself in scoring positions because of his fundamentals and just, his overall being sound. Next to him is our youngster. This is Keelan Ali, he's a sophomore. He'll be a first-year varsity player last year on a junior high team. But Keelan is highly athletic, moves well, a great communicator on the floor. Really looking for some big things out of him this season. To my left, we have Bray Hunter, who's a returning junior. Bray is kind of our brains. Bray is very smart. He's sharp on the floor. There's nothing that I can't draw up. He can look at, we can go through one time, and he doesn't know how to get the guys where they're supposed to be. So very smart. Having him on the floor is going to be a big asset for us. And then to my far left is Clay White, who, if I asked all 4 of them who's the best shooter, all 4 of them are going to raise their hand. But right now, Clay's role right now is a shooter. He does a really good job for us in practice, plays extremely hard, and I'm looking forward to working with these guys all year.
Sweet. What's some of your goals and expectations coming into this season, Coach?
Yeah, so last year as an assistant, I had the opportunity to kind of be more relational with these guys and build these relationships. And I felt like that was my role as an assistant coach. And so this year, everything is new. It's a brand new conference. It's a brand new head coach. So the philosophies are different. The gameplay is different. The vernacular and our terminology is going to be a lot different. But with these guys, we've kind of preached all year since the spring that we just want to compete. This is a tough league. Really top to bottom, when you look at 4A basketball and boys, there's not one weak conference. And since moving with Little Rock is a basketball town. And so if we can compete at the end of the day and play hard every game, every practice, then I feel like that we have an opportunity. Obviously, our goal is to play in Hot Springs. But I think that if we compete every day, obviously with gameplay, strategy will change from game to game. I feel like that we have a pretty good shot at the end of the season for a run at the conference championship.
Right on. Speaking of philosophy, what is that coaching philosophy? What is that thing that you preach to your team every practice, every day, even outside of practice?
Yeah, so I'm big on grades. Our philosophy right now is taking care of business. We want to outwork everybody every day, whether that's on the floor, in the classroom, at your part-time job. We want to outwork everyone. We don't ever want to be outworked by anybody. So our philosophy this year is we're going to have to be a lot better on defense. Right now, we may struggle with scoring. We haven't had, like Coach Breakbill said before us, we have not had a practice with everyone. I've got 9 kids coming from football. And so great athletes, great kids, but, the learning curve will be there when they get back. And so with these guys, and while we're still learning and teaching, defensively, we're going to have a dog mindset. We're going to have to play extremely hard every possession. We sprint everywhere. We don't walk anywhere. And so defensively is going to kind of be where we hang our hat early in the season.
Right on. That non-conference schedule. Give us a little insight on that non-conference schedule and just how important it is scheduling that for the conference.
Sure. So being in 4A, especially where we're located, a lot of schools that we are playing, a lot of the football schools don't have a lot of kids in the gym. We've been fortunate to have 10 kids in the gym during football season. So some of the schools that we are playing are actually non-football schools, which you would think would be lesser athletes, but these are kids that, they started playing this week. They're 9, 10, 11 games into their season before we ever see them. And so our non-conference schedule is going to be tough with kids that are in the gym 365. They might play one other sport, but they stay consistently in the gym and have, quite a few games under their belt before they ever see us.
Okay, this is for each player from left to right. Give us a little insight on your preparation coming into this season, and give us a little insight overall of your mentality coming into this season.
I prepare myself just to be ready to play defense, lock in, get my teammates in check. Like, even when they're down, got to lift them up and can't beat on them.
I definitely think it's going to be a challenge coming into the season because, like how he said, we got people playing games before us and stuff. So it's just like we just got to be prepared and have that mindset, have ourselves ready and stuff.
I think we need to be. I work on defense a lot, getting everybody where they're supposed to be, and making sure they're where they're supposed to be and having a good mentality.
Treating practice like games really helps. Like coming in playing teams that have already played games, and then it just prepares us even more.
Coach, I know it's your first year as a head coach here, but you've been there. Are you changing any styles, any offense style, any defense style? What new things are you introducing to the team?
Yeah, so offensively, everything is brand new. I try to run a conceptual offense. It's not easy to learn, but we try to cater all of everything that we do towards our personnel. And so things may change. I'm not afraid to try something and then scrap it if we feel like it's not going to work. But seeing the way that these guys move, how hard they practice, the way that they communicate with one another, I think that we've changed how quick we play. With the shot clock, it actually has been really beneficial for us in high school. And so we have a philosophy where we play 8 to great to late. So in the first 8 seconds, we're trying to play quick. We're trying to get a quick, easy bucket. If we don't get anything in the first 8 seconds, then we settle into the great part of our offense where we're moving the basketball, we're communicating, we're trying to get a better look. And then obviously at the end, when we come down to the shot clock series, we have some pretty good action that we're looking for to utilize. Once we get to that point, we're trying to kind of focus on 1 or 2 guys that we know are kind of our go-to guys. In the half, while we are running our main offense, we try to give not equal opportunity, but we try to get an easy bucket with putting guys in right spots.
Coach, with this being your first year head coach, what's some of your mentors that you look forward to, that you look up to, or that you can go to get some knowledge?
Yeah, so one just talked before me. Coach Andy Brakebill and I have been friends for a while. He's one of the best basketball minds that I've ever been around. Very organized. He's detailed. He's one that I can call if I have a question about anything, and he'll be quick to tell me, man, that may work, that may not work. And another one is Mark Smith, who I worked with while I was at Bauxite. One of the best X&O guys that I've ever been around. Had coached at Bryant, coached at Bauxite, has been around the block for a long time, very knowledgeable of the game, and just a solid man.
Right on. With you having a lot of players coming in for football, how has your outlook on your practices, being able to implement certain things, how has that outlook been for you, considering you have players like that?
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a learning curve. It almost feels like that you're going to have to reteach, which is okay. So we've been pretty vanilla so far as offense goes. We spent a ton of time on defense. Defense, to me, is one of the hardest things to teach. When you teach man-to-man the correct way, it is one of the hardest defenses to teach. But I think there will be a learning curve. But these kids that are coming from football they're no stranger to winning. Malvern football has been a pinnacle of 4A football for a long time. Most of these guys were on the state championship team 2 years ago, so they know what it takes to win. Coach Fogelman and his staff does a fantastic job of holding those kids accountable, and he prepares them in a way that they can slide over to basketball and be equally as effective.
talking about you guys that were on the state championship team, or even that just obviously you were around it. How does that translate? Or this is a question I ask to a lot of multi-sport athletes. You know, experiencing getting to the top of the mountain, how does that transfer over to other sports?
Seeing how they prepared and for every game to come in with the same mentality and knowing what they're doing, playing their role, definitely helped translate to basketball, doing the same thing and kind of mentoring under them.
Coach, with watching film from last year of this group or the previous group, how do you how do you plan on addressing some of the weaknesses that you saw in some of those players or even in some of those games?
Yeah, so, excuse me, the way that we prepare practices, we try to make practices harder than games. We try to put them in controlled, hard situations where the games seem almost easy. But when you go back and watch film, the team that we have this year is not the same team that we had last year. You know, we graduated, we were very senior heavy. We graduated two that went to go play Division I football that were, big bodies that could score, great athletes. And so this team that we have here is actually fairly brand new. So it benefits us in a way that, when they do come in, it not only is it new to me, it's going to be new to everybody. And so, while there will be a learning curve, like I said, I feel like that we're pretty even as far as no one is really more ahead of the other one. And I don't feel like that we're going to be, chasing behind the 8 ball or anything like that before season starts.
I'd like to hear from the players. We can start down here from you, Clay, and then just work our way down. But you guys have new system, new head coach, replacing some production. So how have each one of you guys embraced a new role, and what have you guys done in the off season with a new coach to help yourself embrace that role, not only individually but also as a teammate?
He's really good at like he watches us practice, and then he sees like what we're best at, and he's really good at placing us in those spots. So it really helps us in like games. We know our roles, we know what to do, and he puts us in those spots where we could do best, and it makes our team good.
Like he said earlier, when he was an assistant, he had that relationship type of goal. So now I can kind of go in and talk to him, and knowing if I have any questions, like knowing what to do or how my role is. So it helps a lot. It's not nothing hard.
Well, he definitely put us in like positions that we didn't know we could play in. So it was like, for me, it was like a little different, but I got used to it and it made me work harder.
With him coming in last year, he helped me a lot. He talked to me. Like, I could come into him after the game and ask him what I messed up on, and he told the truth. And with him being like that, it built my relationship with him.
This also for each player. What do you think the key would be to have a successful season amongst the group of you guys?
The key for us is definitely defense. I feel like, me personally, I got good defense. I could play good defense. And that go the same for them too. They got good defense, and when it comes to like full court press, we definitely in it. Like, we have a great mindset. And it's just like, last year we didn't have that. And coming into this year, it's like, it's way better.
So defense, right?
You want to add something? No? Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you guys, I know that motivation. When you're speaking about motivation, what's that one team that motivates you to practice harder, to train harder? What's that one team on your calendar that you have circled that you want to play?
Arkadelphia.
Definitely Arkadelphia.
Arkadelphia, okay. Right.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. So, we moved out of that conference with Arkadelphia. And Arkadelphia is a 30-minute drive from Malvern. It's a highly competitive game, big rivalry game. It brings a great gate. Whether we play at home or on the road, the gym is always packed. It's a fun atmosphere. And so, we're going to keep them on the schedule just to keep that, you got to keep that rivalry and,
right.
Keep that gate as well.
That's right. No doubt. Hey, man, look, I'm excited for you guys, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you. We appreciate you for coming out, giving us a little insight on your program. that concludes our interview. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Okay, up next we have the Malvern girls, Malvern High School girls. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, thank
We
you.
have head coach Sherry White. Could you introduce yourself and introduce your players from left or right, please?
Yes, I'm Sherry White. This is my second year at Malvern. 42 overall, so been around a little bit. Loving it so far. One of the best places I've ever coached. To my left is Jalen Finley. She's 6'3", senior, getting some looks. Had some knee injury early in her career before I got hit there. And, but still last year, double-double, average, can play at the 3, 4, 5 spot, and is a 4.0 student. This is Niera Stringer. 6-foot senior, plays the 4 and 5 spots, can also knock down the 3, has a 3.2 GPA. Kaylee Weaver, 5'7", power forward, one of the best defenders I've ever coached, 4.1 GPA, also is a member of our dance team. Wow. Our new dance team, this first year, so impressive.
Okay. Well, to start off, Coach, give us a little insight on your program and what's some of your goals and expectations for this season.
Okay. Program before, I mean, they've had some state championships back in 2013, 14, so tradition has been there, but in the last 10 years, not so good. Been through a lot of coaching changes and, of course, COVID, the different things that have been going on in these girls' lives. So, but last year we improved from what they had done before, and we're looking for more improvement this year. We had a tough conference last year, Nashville, some of those crazy people that shoot the ball like out of this world. So getting out of that conference, I feel has, not that it's an easy conference, I don't know that there's such a thing, but for us, in our minds, it feels like it's gonna be just as competitive maybe, but a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just not easier, sorry, don't want to use that word. But in our minds, I feel like we can accomplish or compete with these teams better.
Coach, you're a Hall of Famer, one of the best ones to ever do it in the state of Arkansas, multiple state championships. So just tell us about coming to a new school, I know you're in your second year, and instilling that winning culture that, you know, like you said, has been at Malvern in the past, but they've been lacking, you know, here recently, but getting back to that absolute winning culture and getting these girls confident and trusting themselves.
And that is a hard part. And you think that it would be easy, but being in the right place most of my days, being around good people, good coaches, great parents, has all been a part of the success in my life. But yes, trying to instill that is hard to do when they've had so much negativity in their program and through their career. So losing ball games is hard to overcome when that mindset gets in there. So every day we talk about positivity, the power of positive thinking, but every day is a challenge for them too. Our expectations, I had expectations last year, and I still have those this year. You walk in the room with these kids and what we left at home, they look like a state championship team just walking in. So I'm hoping to, we are hoping to get that going.
Building off that question, just having coached so many teams, how have you had just, you know, yes, the game has changed, but how have you had to change as a coach? You know, that's one thing that we heard Coach Howard from Parkview say earlier. You can't be as tough on kids as you used to be. That's something you hear very common. So what are some ways that you've had to adapt as far as a coach through the years?
It has been a lot different. We always say we're old school, so we could get by with so much more, and the running and the taking them outside and the heat and, you know, just wearing them down. Can't do any of that. We played in the practice in an old gym last week, and I thought we were all going to pass out. We just shook our heads. But the hiring of 2 new younger coaches, Coach Tina Tennyson is a Little Rock lady. She brings some tough, but she's old school too, but she's still younger. So I think that's helped. And then Eli Dunn, our junior girls coach, brought him in, and he hasn't missed a varsity practice. He's there instilling new ideas, and they're both great. And I think that we've improved in that coaching position a lot.
Coach, what's some of your team's biggest strength and biggest weaknesses coming into this season?
Well, our strength, obviously, is our size. We hope to go inside a lot. But like I said, Niera, she can pop that 3 out there. So as a trailer just coming down the floor, if we can just inside out it, I think that's one of our biggest strengths is our size. We're getting better at our defense. We work man-to-man every single day. You know, if we can get man-to-man instilled, and we can run anything, any kind of zone or any other defense. I don't know, weaknesses, probably just knowledge of the game, just not getting the experience. We went to a team camp last summer in Northwest Arkansas, and that's something these girls, I think, have missed out on, is a lot more team camps, playing people that really challenge us during the non-conference and summertime.
Okay, this is for each player, starting from left to right. What's some of the things you've been working on over the summer to help you get better coming into this season?
I would say overall, it's just really being in the weight room and getting stronger, and with that helping me, especially on defense, because that's really one of my big focuses. So building that strength really helps me on defense.
And I agree about being in the weight room 3 times a week in the mornings, and like my defense, getting better with that, and just like knowing the game, and that's really it.
Just like they said, being in the weight room, overall speed and agility. You know, AAU's helped with that, but yeah, just getting faster, because it's not all about bullying folks being in the post. Yeah, I want to get faster, so yeah.
Trying to make them quicker.
Yeah.
Those early mornings are making us tougher, hopefully mentally. 6:30 practices. I know some people are used to that. We are not. But just to get these kids to practice consistently has been really probably the biggest accomplishment. Last year, they just hadn't been, and a lot of them weren't these girls, just showing up to practice. So we've come a long way. We're showing up every day, and they're working hard. Fun to be around, great team. Personality-wise, it's just they've got good chemistry, which is hopefully will, that takes a lot of work, just like a family, right? So they're working hard on that, and just the challenges every day, just being there and being put through the work that we're putting them through.
Okay, well, motivational time. What's that game on your schedule that's giving you that motivation that you want to play? What's that one you got circled?
Arkadelphia.
Yeah, definitely Arkadelphia.
Arkadelphia is it, huh?
And that's a non-conference this year.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, I think the same. Whatever they feel. I want to win every conference game. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I know that's real. Well, I appreciate. Well, that concludes our interview at this point. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to interview.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
We appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, up next we got Lafayette County High School boys basketball. We got head coach Rod Briggs. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you all for coming out today. Give us a little insight about yourself and introduce some of your players from left to right, please.
All right, like you said, I'm head coach Roderick Briggs. This is year 7 for me to be back at Lafayette County, my alma mater. So obviously, it's exciting for me to always pour back into these kids. I guess from my left, this is a sophomore, Ty Palermo. He was started last year as a freshman, so he's just a sophomore, but he has a lot of experience. I can count maybe on one hand the times from the time we ended our season to every Sunday, even though we don't have official practice between these two guys, of them missing a Sunday because they're always texting me, asking me, can they get in the gym throughout the summer. Even right now, there'll be a text on my phone late Saturday night or right as I get out of church on Sunday for these guys to be asking me to get in the gym. Ty had a good summer, went down to Louisiana Tech, picked up a lot of interest there. Every week they're emailing me or calling me, messaging me, just checking on him. And then that's kind of grown. Hasn't got an official offer yet, but it's only a matter of time for him being a sophomore. This is junior to my right, junior Amari Roan. Amari's worked really hard on his game this summer. He's really busted his tail because he's had to sit, and he know his one flaw has been defensively. So he has spent hours upon hours trying to get better defensively. And so I'm really excited to see what that brings for us going forward.
Okay, speaking upon that, what's some of your goals and expectations of the squad coming in?
The goal is always to win, obviously, and win at the highest level, meaning trying to make it to Hot Springs. But in our conference, in our region, we have to start with district and region because that's, for us, if you don't make the region, you don't get a chance to go to state. So that's our goal, is to try to first win the district championship, win the regional, make sure we get a seat in the state tournament because obviously these guys have been around 2 or 3 years, the teams in the past. We didn't make it last year, but 2 or 3 years before that has been a constant. We've been a constant in the state tournament, and that's what these guys want to do. So,
okay. For each player, starting from your left to right, what's some of the things I heard Coach saying you've been working on your defense, getting stronger at that? Is there anything else you've been working on over the summer to help you prepare for the season?
I've been working on getting better at seeing the floor as like a short guard, learning to be more aggressive with the ball and attacking downhill and just getting more physical in general.
I've been working on being more physical and expanding my knowledge of the game. It'll help me on the court, being able to see, like Mari said, be able to see the court better and just being more physical overall.
Coach, looks like you got a young team. So tell us about bringing those guys along. I mean, I know you relied on Ty probably quite a bit last year, even as a freshman. But you got a young team. So, you know, what do you instill on those guys to be leaders, but as, you know, at a young age where usually you're going to have a whole lot of senior leaders to lean upon. But what do you instill in these young guys to be leaders for your team?
The biggest thing is just every single day it's a grind. These guys know, you know, how it is to play for me. The biggest thing we always talk about is defense. There's a sign when you walk out of the locker room on any shirt that you see. It's always about defense. So the biggest thing that I've tried to do is not only just being better defensively, making sure that's our number one goal, but these guys know that the practices have to be more intense. They have to be really competitive. So, you know, even with these guys being young, those traits and characteristics are kind of carried over. We do have 3 seniors. 2 of those guys, Jalen Calton, Rod Bailey, a couple of those guys have college classes, or they would be here with us today. Andrew Mack. Andrew was a All-State guard as a 10th grader, and he's now a senior. So we will have 3 seniors that we depend on. and we're going to expect a lot from them. But as far as true leaders, these are two guys that no matter age, grade, they're going to do anything I ask. They're two guys. They're locker room guys, what I call locker room guys. I don't have to go in there and stand in the locker room to make sure everything's going well. If it's not, somebody may get bear hugged because, they don't want the result of, of being around, negativity. So these guys are going to help control the locker room, help control what's going on the floor. Again, they're just leaders, and they're going to even help with those seniors. They're going to help those seniors to make sure when they feel like, hey, I want a day off, these two guys won't. Like I said, ever since May, we played Dermot, back in March or late February and lost 27. These guys have been eager to get back to play basketball again because they're just competitors. And so when we lost, like I said, in the regional, the only thing they've told me that they're concerned about is not letting a loss like that happen again. So, I mean, they're young, but these are two leaders on this team.
Coach, what's some of your strength and what's some of your team's strength and weaknesses that you're addressing coming into this season?
One of the weaknesses you both heard both of these guys talk about is being more physical. I felt like at times we're really good. We were really athletic, but I just felt like at too many times last year teams just brought it to us and we didn't respond well. And these guys, especially these two up here, they get a chance to, with them being so young, get a chance to make amends and get better with that. So being more physical, us having more practices, and for me as a coach, less whistle blowing, letting them figure it out, letting them get bumped around, taking more charges, being more aggressive, blocking shots. One of the positives for us is we're probably about 10 deep, and it's been probably 6 or 7 years. Like my first year when I got back home, when I got back there, we were 9 or 10 deep, made a deep run in the playoffs. So the biggest thing, for us, the biggest positive is we look to play 9 or 10 guys, and we don't expect just this huge drop-off when we sub guys. So we expect to play, we scored about 70 points per game last year. So we're looking to, run more guys and kind of keep up that style without losing much. So
70 points, that's impressive.
Now I will say we probably give up 78, so that's what we're working on. That's why we didn't make the state tournament. So
right.
that's one of those things we're working on.
Right. So to each one of the players, assuming that coach has these high expectations for you, how do you deal with that pressure? With coming into the season, being a couple leaders on one of the leaders on the team, how do you deal with that pressure?
Dealing with the pressure is coach's job to teach us how to get better and do what we're supposed to do and do our job on the court. And handling the pressure is good because it's easy for me. I like to motivate my teammates, and just help the team overall and do my part and help them do their part.
I feel like you just gotta have more confidence. Like, do your job. Like Ty said, you gotta have a lot of confidence, believe in yourself, get it done, and just continue on with the next play.
Coach, how do you prepare for those tough games, those rivalry games? How do you prepare your team for those games?
Honestly, I'm not a big motivational talking kind of guy. So, like in practice, like I said, the biggest thing for us is trying to make sure we're prepared. They know, what their best sets are, who's their better players. Now, there are a few games, where they may get, hey, let's go kick some butt. But for us, that's like an everyday mentality. So the way I try to approach it is when we see who we got to play that next week, hey, we got to go win the game next week. Our conference is going to be tough enough where, we don't have a lot of room for ups and downs, highs and lows. We got to make sure we're prepared every single, Tuesday and Friday or Tuesday and Thursday whenever we play in those non-conference games. And so I hope the stuff that we've done all summer, practicing, shooting, ball handling, whatever we've done leading up until our season starts. I hope that's enough motivation, for them, because at the end of the year last year, like I said, we didn't finish how we wanted to. So I'm a strong believer in people kind of do what they want. So, I feel like if these guys really want to get better, really didn't like how it ended, we'll put the work in, to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Speaking of that, how do you prioritize, getting those guys ready? I mean, working on their strength and weakness. How do you prioritize that?
So for us, it's different. Or I say for us, for me, it's different. First of all, we're a 1A school that plays 2A football. So, half of the guys I don't see until football is over, with respect for our football coach and, trying to make sure every program at a small school succeeds. So the other kick to that is I coach both the boys and girls. So, there's very limited time. I got to, be strategic in how I do that. And that's all made possible by having a good assistant coach, which is Coach Lindsay. But the biggest thing is when I get the guys together, we do a lot of team stuff. So neither one of these guys play football, so they're in the gym. So those guys can do more getting on the gun, shooting, ball handling, some 2-on-2, 3-on-3, stuff like that. But once we actually get the whole team, football, once they conclude, whenever that time may be, that's when we'll try to focus on a lot of team stuff, because that's when we have that time, just being in a mixed conference like that. So we have to wait till, that sport's over with.
But I heard you say you do some stuff outside of the game. So what's some of those activities that you do outside to help that?
Every Sunday from 3:30, boys and girls, we have open gym. And like I said, I can count on maybe 5 times that both of these guys have missed since, we got out of school. And so a lot of it is shooting. They're asking me questions about, hey, how do I get my shot off quicker? The perfect example is, Amari's at the gym about 2 weeks ago. Then it's, hey, coach, the drills that you're showing me, I see they're working, because he's bringing that back to 3-on-3 or, 2-on-2, whatever we're doing during the period when we got 7 or 8, select guys who don't play. So just whatever these guys need. I've tried to change and not be a drill sergeant so much, and try to go back and start asking these guys where they think they can get their game better, so that way I can help, those guys individually. So.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely looking forward to seeing you guys and hearing more from you guys throughout the season. Yeah. So before I conclude, I always want to ask this. What's that one game you have circled on your schedule that motivates you or that you're looking forward to playing?
Bradley.
Bradley?
Yes.
Okay, Bradley. Why, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a packed house, and it's a little kind of a rival game, basically. But, it's more intense and more physical when we play Bradley.
Last year, I'm not familiar with last year, but what happened during that last year Bradley game?
Last year, 0-2, two what I call 20-piece chicken McNuggets. So they beat us twice, 20 and maybe 24. So that's another reason why those guys, it's 12 to 14 minutes away. It's pretty close. We're in the same county. But for me, it's every game, because I want them to approach it every game. But, so.
They need that motivation. Well, no doubt. Well, we appreciate you, and that concludes our interview at this moment. Appreciate you guys for coming down, giving us a chance to interview. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, up next we have Lafayette High School girls basketball head coach again, Rod Briggs. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Introduce your players from left to right, please.
All right, this is Trinity McKinney, junior. Unique about both of these girls, they're the only two girls since I've been there that I moved up since as freshmen. So Trinity is a junior. She's been a 3-year, this will be her 3rd year on varsity. She's a 2-year all-conference player. Last year she averaged about 17 points a game, led us in scoring. Also had about 8.5 rebounds a game, second in the team in rebounds. Super fast. She's gotten a heck of a lot better controlling her dribble. Last year, teams backed off of her because she was so fast. So this year, she started putting a lot of work into her three-point shooting. And as we're getting team practices, since volleyball's over, I'm noticing a real change in her shot for the good. A lot of confidence. Her biggest thing has been confidence. So I'm really excited to see how her confidence keeps growing. To my right is a senior, Atessa Johnson, another girl. I started as a freshman, and so this will be her 4th year on varsity. 3-year all-conference player. Excited to have her back. A lot of big things are expected of Atessa, not just on the basketball floor, as far as scoring and rebounding, but she expects a lot from herself. So it motivates me to make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's when it comes to coaching, because like I said, both of these girls have been with me since they've started as freshmen, and it's kind of unique because I've never really done that before, but both of them, when they did come on, had and obviously they still do now, have had really big impacts on my senior high girls basketball teams.
Okay, starting from left to right. Each girl, could you please give us a little insight just on your mental coming into this game and some of the things you've been preparing, been working on coming into this season?
It's one big thing I've been preparing on and working on. It's being more of a leader to my team. It's like a lot of people don't talk that much, so it's big for me to just get on the court and just lead my team the way I can.
The thing I worked on, that I need to work on, is being a team player, because like I said, I really didn't talk much, and when playing basketball, you gotta talk amongst your teammates.
So, Coach, I ask this all the time. What's some of your goals and expectations for this squad, you know?
This group, their motto is, if we don't win, we're not working hard enough. We have 7 sophomores that joins this group, and 2 other juniors. This group right here is probably, or these 2 right here, will probably do 70% of our scoring. And it's not a bragging statement, but that's just what they do. They'll do a lot of our scoring. And the good thing about it is everybody else that kind of bought into their role, or they're buying into their role. We just finished up with volleyball last week, so like I said, it's exciting to kind of see it all come together. But this group, they handle adversity better than I've seen in a long time. With girls sports, you know, with different stuff that's going on, I've just seen this group handle adversity a whole lot better than I've ever seen. Since I've been coaching, it's been different. So I'm just excited, man. I'm excited with this group because we're fast, but we've also got sophomore guards who can really shoot the ball, and it takes the pressure off these 2. So their expectations the same. Our conference is really tough. There's Bradley, there's Emerson, there's Taylor, Emerson, Taylor. They won, they were in the regional championship. And we don't hide from the fact that we know that you just don't go and beat those people, you know. But we also understand that what we've preparing for, we're gonna, if we keep preparing the way we are, we get a chance to be in that regional championship, get a chance to go to state, and ultimately that's what it's about, making that state championship.
So I heard you said that your team is pretty fast at this moment. So your coaching style, does it change, from game to game? Or, considering that you're the boys' basketball coach, but, you come into the girls' realm to where they play fast. Did your coaching style change at any?
Yeah, it has to. I've really tried the last 2 years to try to adapt to what best fits the kids. I know early on in my career, I was just hey, this is how we're going to do it guy. And maybe sometimes that cost us a game or two or cost us from where we wanted to get to. So I've really tried the last 2 years to, figure out what works best for them. And it's helped. The kids respond better that way, especially girls basketball. And so with us being able to play fast, I've really just tried to, respond to them more so the last few years and try to figure out what works best.
Coach, the basketball culture in South Arkansas has really exploded. There's a lot of good teams. You talked about it just in your conference and regionals. That being said, you've got a pretty good squad yourself, but how do you just on a daily practice with your players, knowing that you have all of this scoring back, knowing that you have a lot of help that are now sophomores, how do you coach them on a daily basis to be like, look, yes, we're good, but everybody else is good too?
Honestly, that's the message. For us, it's a deal where they know it, and like I said, they embrace it. And I think it helps when you embrace it because that shows a lot of maturity. So it makes my job easier. They hold each other accountable. Like I said, these two girls are two of the quietest girls I've ever been around in my life. But over the last year, I've heard them talk. Over the last few months, I've heard them talk, communicating with their teammates because they want to be good. They want their team to be good. So kind of goes back to what I said about the boys. They do a lot of that locker room stuff, a lot of the getting ready before practice, after practice, making sure that girls are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And they don't like extra lines, okay? They don't like extra, laps. So they're gonna try to do it right the first time. That's what makes it a pleasure to coach these girls because they're gonna try to do it right the first time. Occasionally there's a, Coach Briggs moment where we gotta do whatever. But they really try to do it right the first time. And I think, again, it's important for me to say they embrace the fact that they have a good team. So it makes it easy for me to go coach them because they really want to be good.
Coach, you just kind of mentioned a little bit about juggling both the boys and the girls teams, and I know that's got to be taxing. How taxing, like it's not unprecedented because it happens a lot, but just how tough is that for you to try to juggle both at the same time?
Like I said, it helps when you have a good assistant coach, which I do. And for the past 6 or 7 years, I've done it. I've had a really good assistant coach. The biggest thing is the film watching. Man, I'm kind of, I don't know what the word you use when you talk about watching film, but I have to make myself go to bed 11:30ish, 12 o'clock. I have 2 kids of my own, so at times it's very taxing because of a certain date in November. It's just that type of stuff, the small details a lot of people don't think about, which, for us, do you want to play Kirby early? No, because they get to play on October the 15th, and we wait till November the 19th or whatever the case may be. But the biggest deal is trying to make sure that I'm still reaching every one of my players, coaching all 4 teams, still trying to make sure I have enough energy, the effort, and I have enough, all of that stuff left to make sure I still reach all of my players, so.
Okay, yeah, Coach seems like he's relying on you all to be that extension of him on the court. So how mentally, how do you prepare to do that for him on the court?
I work hard in practice. I always keep my mind on trying to do everything right, make sure I don't mess up.
Coach Briggs always say I'm a little unselfish with the ball. So it's just gotta be more selfish or something. I don't know how to say it.
That's just it. Be more selfish, meaning, they want to make the play. They want their teammate to make the play, and sometimes they just got to do it. Go make the play. The good thing about these girls is, a couple years ago I had a bunch of overthinkers, and I keep going back to they're getting more mature, and I'm seeing them, become more mature. So a lot of the stuff that, that I, put on them, they can handle because it's just they're trying to meet an expectation, and they don't look at it as like this bad thing or this negative thing. They know I'm just trying to get them to get to a place where they don't think they can get yet, so.
So I'm not familiar with your non-conference schedule. Give us a little insight on that non-conference schedule, and how important it is for your conference.
Well, I mean, non-conference for us, being like I said, a football school, and it's just different. With the girls, on the girls' side, we're going to play Bismarck, D Queen. Coach Burgess is going to do a great job. Of course, he has 2 daughters. They're coming from a Nashville team, and he's a fantastic coach. So, I mean, you go play a 4A school being a 1A, I think it kind of is going to show these girls what type of team I think we have, what type of team we can be. We host, my second year when I went back to Lafayette County, we started a Christmas tournament. So this year's grown to 10 teams. So we're going to play people like, Fordyce, Falk, Spring Hill, Derricks, list of 7 or 8 other schools that we typically wouldn't get to play because of scheduling restrictions, for a football school or when we can start and stuff like that. But non-conference for us, we're just trying to get to March. And we may lose those games, we may win. The biggest thing that I want these girls to understand, though, is it's about March, So it's about the finish line. We're just trying to get there.
So amongst you ladies, amongst you all, what's that team that motivates y'all throughout the season?
Taylor.
That y'all looking forward to play, huh?
Taylor.
Taylor?
Taylor.
Again, that's this. You get the same answer.
Oh, yeah.
Every game is important to us.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, Taylor, they beat Emerson in the regional.
Yeah.
Coach Graves was my assistant for 2 years. He's, one of my good friends. Coach French, of course, they were the runner-up. He's one of my good friends. So at the end of the day, for us, it's just about trying to get to, district, regional championships and make a run at state. So,
right on. Well, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming out. Like I said, thank you again for coming out.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys, all you guys doing this stuff for us, and not just us, but all the schools. I think it means a lot to a lot of coaches and more than you guys know. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, up next we got Maumelle High School girls basketball with head coach.
Hi, my name is Grover Garrison, 17th year coaching, third year at Maumelle High School. I'll go ahead and introduce the young ladies that we have brought with us. To my left is our senior captain, Christianity Garland. Junior McKaylin KK Hall, first year with us. We have junior Elena Flacco, and we have sophomore Ava Fouts.
Okay, Coach, to start off, give us a little insight on the program and some of your goals and expectations for the season.
Okay, well, one thing that I've said the majority of the summer, but this has been my third year, if we could have started the program here 2 years ago, we'd be a lot further along. I'm really excited about the work ethic that these young ladies have shown throughout the summer and throughout the first 9 weeks, locked in, totally engaged, and most importantly, and it's an expression that I've said several times, your level of effort is a direct reflection of your level of interest. And I really believe they are locked in and they are interested in moving the needle on this program.
Coach, I've talked to you several times throughout the years, and you've just been expressing to me just how your program is getting better and how you see growth. So what's a testament to their growth as you see it at this point?
Oh, I can tell you now, that's easy. Whenever coaches are trying to get prepared for practice and you may not make it to the gym on time and you see your team stretching, shooting layups, warming up without you being there, that's a big testament of growth. Years past, we probably would not have saw that. Whenever you see a young lady struggling in practice, she may not be carrying out a particular exercise or activity appropriate, and one of your senior captains steps over to help her. That's growth. You know, whenever a player who may not even be a captain, a sophomore, will go address one of her teammates about the expectations or how she's not carrying things out appropriately, that's growth. And that's what I'm excited about. We're getting past a lot of those roadblocks that usually create havoc in a program. They're becoming more accountable towards each other, and it doesn't have to come from the coaches.
Right. So, with that being said, hey, from left to right, give us a little insight on each one of you all, just your preparation and your overall mentality heading into the season. Starting with you, Christina.
Yeah, you know, Maumelle, we've always been the underdog, but I think this year we're really coming out strong. Been focusing a lot on our defense this year, just, you know, playing with grit and, like he said, just showing that we care, showing that effort. And I think we really proved it in practice, and I think it'll translate to the court.
Really the same as Chris, to be honest. But as he said, it's my first year in Maumelle. I've heard a lot about their past seasons, but I believe that from what I heard and how we're doing now, that we have put way more effort and preparation into this season, and I feel like it's going to be good.
Yeah, going off of what Chris and KK just said, we've been working a lot on defense and fundamentals, and I think that's really been helping us build a foundation for what we're going to do this year, and I think it's going to be a really, really good season.
Coach is just really stressing defensive this year, so we've been getting in shape, running down the court. We're just trying to grow as a team defensively and prepare for a good season.
Sounds like we probably need to focus on defense a little bit more. But to sort of add on to what they're saying, I too as a coach had to make some adjustments. You know, for a while I had not coached basketball. I came back, it looked a lot different. And so this year, I myself have made some adjustments. I think they've been favorable for our growth and development, but we really have been challenging the young ladies to be scrappy, making them run, pushing them to limits that they didn't know that they could actually reach, because maybe that's been the culture in the past.
Well, so this question is for Christianity. Christianity, with me knowing your basketball lineage and just how basketball runs throughout your family, give us a little insight on your leadership, the role you have to play this year, and just how would it play a big part into your success?
I think growing up around basketball, I've always seen like my brother being a leader. And I think I was a natural born leader. I love to talk. I love to help other people. And so just me translating that to the court, helping my teammates where I see they need help, or whether it's encouraging them or picking them up for practice or whatever, I think that my leadership has like grown a lot. And even last year, I kind of stepped into that leadership role. And I just think that I hope it can take us a long way, honestly. And I just feel like my leadership has definitely helped a bunch of girls on the team.
Coach, the buzzword I think is culture right now that we're talking about, and you know, we've had the privilege at Maumelle Sports Network to watch you guys from the time you got there and the culture piece and what you guys have continued to build. My question would be really for Chrissy and the girls is, can you talk about that culture a little bit and what the difference is right now with Coach Garrison and what you guys have picked up to this point as a team, that culture piece?
This year, we have a saying, or our acronym, PROVE IT, and the P stands for passion, the R stands for results, the O is opportunity, V is victory, E is enthusiasm, I is intensity, and T is toughness. And we just really put that into practice, every time we step on the court. We really just like to emphasize that, and that helps shape our culture.
I'd also like to add something that I'm really proud of, and this right here probably brought me and the coaches almost to tears. The girls had a goal first 9 weeks of a 4.0, 19 girls. We said, you all are going to average a 4.0 GPA. Wow. We missed that mark. They earned a 3.72. But the beautiful part is they were willing to accept their running for it. And see, you don't find it very often. And so that showed me the culture has changed to where excellence is the standard. And if we're not there yet, we're trending in that direction. That's why I really am excited about this team. We're still learning. They're willing to get better, and that's the cultural piece that may not have been there in the past.
So, you know, I heard Coach just say something that was outstanding in my opinion, a 3.7. So how do you all chemistry outside of basketball? How is that amongst the group?
Yeah, we try to spend as much time as we can together as possible. But if we see someone in the hallways, hey, get to class, just like staying on each other. And we want the best for our team. Like you said, that 3.7, we weren't like pleased with that. But I mean, it's all right. It's good, I guess. But just staying on their backs, staying on their toes, just, hey, go get to class, just checking up in on them, making sure grades are good. But I feel like that's where we're at right now. We talk a lot outside of practice, talk a lot outside of school, and I think that kind of helps our chemistry on the court too.
So, Coach, building that non-conference schedule, tell us about it. Give us a little insight on that non-conference.
Well, we're going to try to take it one step at a time. We feel like we've scheduled a few games which will translate over to our conference, 5A Central. We're going to hit Fort Smith Southside. We're going to head up there, see how we fare well. We got Alma coming in, start the year off, CAC, and one game that the kids in Maumelle really enjoy, or will enjoy because we've never played each other before, is Maumelle Charter, mainly because it's a Maumelle game. And so we're really looking forward to that for our kids as well as their kids. But for the most part, we're going to travel down Hot Springs for the holiday tournament, and we're going to head south down to Drew Central. And I feel like it's a good mix of what we might see in the conference.
Okay. Yeah, so speaking of the conference, what's that one game that you all have circled on your schedule that you really are looking forward to playing?
Like Coach said, we're trying to take it one game at a time. Not just a specific team, but, you know, we'll get it with anybody, you know, just trying to take it one game at a time, like you said.
Okay.
The one thing I really kind of also want to add, and this is just to throw a little shine to these ladies, especially with Ava. She was pretty much thrown into the gauntlet last year as a freshman. She didn't get a chance to play a full season, but she had a great summer. Her confidence is sky high, and that's what I've noticed in practice. Her job is to shoot the basketball. Her and I had a conversation. I said, I do not need you to be uncoachable. She was like, what does that mean? Your job is to shoot. And so she's going to have a good breakout sophomore year. I truly believe that. Lana Flacco has come back. She went through the ringer this summer, come back a lot tougher, physically, mentally. She's going to do a lot of the little things for us. She's going to have her opportunity to shoot the ball. But, I mean, I love the junior that's come back right now. She's come back with that clear mind and ready to just sacrifice for the team. KK here, she showed up, and we had no idea that she would be walking through our doors fresh off of an ACL injury. She's been cleared, and she has been phenomenal. We think she's going to have an immediate impact on the conference. And Chris, as you know, her and I, this is our third year together. We've had highs and lows, and I can tell you this, Chris has my full trust, and I trust her. If I walk out the gym, she's going to make sure that everything is still going in the right direction. And I think those are the tools to build a successful program, and you can continue trending in the direction that you want to go.
Hey, awesome. That concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to do so. Thank you, and you have a good day.
Appreciate you guys for having us.
Okay, up next we have Maumelle High School boys basketball with head coach Michael Shook.
How you doing? I'm Michael Shook. It's year 18 coaching, 13th year as head coach at Maumelle. Brought with us here Mark Kalen Rochelle, Jace Tillman, Cedric Jones, and Reese Sharon. This year, the last 2 years, we've been really young. Each of the last 2 years, we've only had one senior. We've been looking forward to this year. This year, we've got 6 seniors, a lot of experience. We're really excited. We think we've got a really good, really talented group. We like our depth. We have very, very good young guys as well as these seniors. We're looking forward as well to getting back to the original identity that Maumelle had when I first took over the job, and that's playing fast. Last couple of years, we've we've had to change things up and adjust to the youngins, adjusting to the speed of the game, and slowed it down. But now we've been really working on getting out there and getting after it and playing fast again.
Okay, Coach, for the players, from left to right, introduce yourselves and give us a little insight on just what your preparation is and what your mentality heading into this season.
Well, my name is Morrilton Rochelle, and for this year's expectations, trying to be as a team player, be tough, and be physically mental, and this season we trying to go undefeated, and our team chemistry is going well so far. And yeah, that's all I got.
I'm James Tillman, and my preparation would be like to bring good energy, and that's really the main part, because if you bring good energy, work hard, everything else will take care of itself.
My name's Cedric Jones. You know, our preparation is, I think we can work hard every day in practice and do what we need to do to make each other better, and iron sharpens iron. You know, we've been working hard every day in practice, so it's just like, hopefully it translates to the game, and when it do translate to the game, everything will come to par.
My name is Reese Sheridan, and I just think our preparation for this season is just hard work every day, and I need to shoot the ball.
Coach, what's some of your goals and expectations for this season?
Well, I like Mark Kalen's, but with the schedule we're playing, I don't know how realistic it is to go undefeated, but we're definitely going to strive for that. Our goals, you know, I've said all along, we want to win championships. You know, we've been fortunate enough, we won many conference championships. We hadn't been able to get over the hurdle to win the state championship. We're hoping that, you know, maybe this year could be our year. Like all these guys said, we've got a lot of talent on this team, and as you can tell, you know, we've really emphasized the importance of working hard. With these guys buying in, you know, we feel like we have a chance. You know, obviously once you get to the state tournament, anything can happen. It's about, you know, matchups and things like that. But with this group, we think we got a chance to be, you know, at least in the conversation. As far as in conference, again, you know, we expect to compete for a conference championship as well. And then, like I said, in the non-conference, I mean, it's a brutal non-conference. We wanted to make sure we got these guys ready. We were willing to play anybody, you know, that it takes to get us ready for that.
Right. Coach, I see a couple new faces on the squad. So with that being said, just how you're looking forward to this season with this new faces and this new group, new talent? You know,
we're Maumelle High School, and every year we have new faces. That's it's just the way it happens. When you have a good program and you treat kids right and you treat kids fair, people want to be a part of that. And yes, 3 of these guys are new to us this year. All of them were phenomenal players at their previous school, and they're going to get a chance to have even more success this year with us. You know, with the turnover and things like that we do experience, it is a challenge. You know, like Coach was talking about earlier with the culture and establishing that culture and building on it. You know, for us, it's, you know, starting over from ground zero, you know, year after year. And so that is a challenge that, you know, it's a good problem to have, but it is a challenge. We've had some good days and we've had some bad days, and these guys have worked really hard. They're adjusting. They're starting to figure out each other's strengths and weaknesses and how to play together. And of course, with the way the AAU world is, all these guys, I think at some point have played together on some team, you know, and so we're really looking forward to it. We feel like we have all the pieces to the puzzle. We've just got to put it together.
So, Coach, Nigel beat me to it, but outside of the new faces, can we talk about your new look right now? Because this is all new for most of us. So let's talk about the new look first. If we're talking about new Maumelle faces, because we may not recognize you.
So anybody that's watched the live stream, you guys do an outstanding job. They've seen the big bald spot that was there for years. And I just decided, it's time to fully embrace it. Now, I have wanted to get rid of it for a while. And in a conversation a month or so ago, my wife gave me permission. So she's fully embraced it. I turned 42 a couple weeks ago and just decided it was time to get rid of it. I was telling Andy, the goal all along had been win a state championship, shave your head as a celebration, and then just rock with it the rest of the time. And obviously, we've come up short 3 or 4 times, and so we're going to try go the other way. We're just going to shave it first, and then see if maybe we can win one doing it that way.
So you mentioned the broadcast as well, but I can't go on without talking about the Pizookies in front of you. I want to say thanks to American Pie Pizza. But Reese, as one of the new faces, I've heard that we're probably going to say Pizookie a lot. So get introduced to the Pizookie there and be ready to hear that called a lot on our broadcast. But talking about the new faces, I do want to ask you, Markaylin, real quick. Talk about your leadership style, and because, again, you are the mainstay at this point of the program of guys that have come and gone. Talk about your leadership role on this team.
Okay. When things aren't going so well, I try to pick up my teammates from there. And, you know me, I'm a quiet guy, so I try my best on that. And overall, my leadership, I try to speak up here and there, but as long as it's going to get better.
But it's safe to say the silent assassin will be a leader on the floor, though.
Yes.
There you go.
And I can say this, too, from Markaylin. So since he's been around for a while, he's seen sometimes I can lose it on a kid and go off when they're not doing what they're supposed to in practice. And Markaylin, obviously, with his personality, he just takes it, yes, sir, okay, and moves on. And so I feel like that he sets the tone and the example for the other guys so that they know that if I can jump on him for doing something wrong, that if I say something to one of them, they already know what the appropriate response is, yes, sir, and move on.
So I'm going to ask this question, and you may just sum up the answer because you've kind of probably talked about it in bits and pieces. But, I go back. I've told this to a couple of people. I go back to our first year doing games with you guys, with Denton and those guys. And this is not a knock on the teams that we've had since then, but I don't know that I've heard you say that you're excited or that see that spark for a team like we've talked about so far this year. What makes this particular group of guys special?
Part of it is it's on me personally. I over the spring and summer just kind of refocused my why and remembered that it's about the relationships with these kids. The wins and losses will take care of themselves. And I can tell you, these guys, they're in our office before every practice. They're in our office after every practice. Just getting a chance to hang out, get to know these guys on a personal level and see them more as people and not just players, and just building those relationships has been really big, and it's got me really excited and rejuvenated for this season.
Yeah. Jace said, I've been following you guys for a while. Just how excited are you guys for this season coming up and just being able to play with each other at this point?
For me, I know I played with this guy at AAU a couple of years, and I played with Sid way back. So I'm kind of excited to actually get to play with a full squad that I built that bond with over the past years. I'm just ready to see how good we can do this year.
Jace, the right answer was you're just excited to be on the right side of the Maumelle Sports Network now.
I'm excited. I feel like we've been putting in the work and we can actually win something this year, which is different from my past other schools. But I feel like we can actually win something this year. I'm just trying to win a ring. I want to win a championship, and that's my goal. That's my goal every year. That's going to continue to be my goal. So, yeah, I'm excited to play with these guys.
Coach, I know you all are scheduled to play in the matchup showcase. That's November the 15th and 16th over at Jacksonville. you're going to have your hands full playing against the loaded and the talented Bryan squad. So give us a little insight on how are you looking forward to playing that game.
Absolutely. You do a great job. The guys that run to match up, it's always a good event. And like you said, playing a loaded Bryant team coming off a 6A state runner-up, return most of their guys. They're going to be extremely tough matchup for us. But, like I said earlier, we're looking to play whoever in the non-conference. We want to test our guys. We know that non-conference schedule, it doesn't impact if you qualify for state or if you win state. So, it's about the preparation. In addition to them, we play Springdale, another one of the top 6A teams. We play Fayetteville. We play Harbor. We play Conway. We were scheduled to play Benton, and last week he called and canceled that one, so we're not going to be able to play Benton. But, we've got a really tough non-conference schedule and really looking forward to it.
Okay, so speaking of that non-conference and conference, what's that game that's marked on your schedule that you're really looking forward to play?
I got it. We want everybody. We want all the smoke. We want to compete with everybody.
Yeah, we want all the smoke.
What they said, we're looking forward to playing everybody. We really right now we're focusing on like gelling as a team, and coach has stressed to us many times that once we do that, it'll be hard to beat.
What y'all pretty much said. They said it all.
I'll say this: we're not afraid of anybody, and we're going to give our best game. But I think what's exciting is, obviously mentioning the transfers and things. Some of these guys that have come in to play for us have played for programs and other schools that maybe they weren't other opponents' big game. People didn't get up for them. And what I've tried to express to these guys and make them realize when we've been emphasizing that hard work every day is everybody's going to have us circled. And we're going to keep it. We've already talked about it. We joked about it. We're going to keep a tally how many teams mention us when you ask that question, because I know last year it was a whole lot of people. And, and people want us, but that's a privilege. It's a privilege. You've gotten to a point to where people respect you enough that they have you circled because they're going to play their best against you, and that's what we want. These guys want to be the best. The only way to do that is get everybody else's best game.
Hey, that's an awesome job, Coach. We're looking forward to seeing more of you guys throughout the season, and thank you for allowing us to interview you today.
Well, we thank you. We thank all of you guys, Natural State Sports, Chris, Kyle, Nick, all of you. You all do a fantastic job promoting the guys and high school sports around the state. And so thank you all for all you do.
Okay, well, that concludes session 1. At this moment, we're going on a break. We'll be back with session 2. Thank you.